But right now, let's stick with Afghanistan and the Taliban peace talks that are now dead, according to President Trump. Joining us to discuss this more, retired Marine Gunnery Sergeant and Senior Fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, Jessie Jane Duff. Great to see you, Jessie Jane.
Good evening.
All right, so we heard Congresswoman Liz Cheney expressing her distaste for the Taliban setting foot on American soil, also from Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger. But what was your reaction when you first heard about this plan to have the Taliban to Camp David?
Well, knowing this president, the way that he has conducted himself since he's been in office, he takes these revolutionary gestures. He hasn't done anything like traditional presidents. He actually stepped foot in North Korea. I'm sure Adam Kinzinger has something to say about that also. At what point are we going to try something different? And I had stated on this show before that we have nothing to lose by trying to engage with a barbaric organization that has actually created 9/11. Let's not forget that on September 11th, which we're having an anniversary on this Wednesday, over 3,000 Americans were killed. Why did we end up in Afghanistan? Because they were harboring Osama bin Laden. We know this. And when the president made a commitment to end the war, what strategy has come out of this since he came in office? This was revolutionary. This was something he thought, let me look him in the eye. And Secretary Pompeo explained that very well this Sunday. He said, let me look them in the eye. I mean, we all know when you message people through text and email and whatnot, you often have bad communication. But maybe there would have been an opportunity. But when they went and had that bomb that caused one of our U.S. service members to be killed on the eve of when they were supposed to come here, the president said, they're dead to me. It's over. They had one shot to make a difference. And I support this president on that because he gave them an opportunity and they blew it. And now, guess what? We're going to probably get harder on them because the fact is that the Taliban is barbaric. They don't even work with the Afghanistan government. We know we're not going to bring democracy to Afghanistan, but we might be able to maintain some formation of keeping them from becoming active and destroying the United States on any level ever again.
It is concerning about what's happening currently in Afghanistan. ISIS has a foothold there. It looks like Al-Qaeda has more influence there as well. You know, this was ultimately going to happen. If we were going to withdraw from Afghanistan, there has to be some sort of agreement with the Taliban. These talks have been going on pre-President Trump. They were going on with the Obama administration. But I want to focus on something the president also said before he left for North Carolina, Jesse. Here's the president when he was asked if his advisors talked him out of the meeting. Here's the president.
No, actually, in terms of advisors, I took my own advice. I like the idea of meeting. I've met with a lot of bad people and a lot of good people during the course of the last almost 3 years. And I think meeting is a great thing. I think that meeting with, you know, you're talking about war. There are meetings with war. Otherwise, wars would never end. You'd have them go on forever. We had a meeting scheduled. It was my idea, and it was my idea to terminate it. I didn't discuss it with anybody else.
Now, Jesse, if you believe the reporting, there was some serious debate inside the administration between Pompeo and John Bolton and others of whether or not this should proceed. But when you hear the president saying he took his own advice, do you think people around him that he really trusts advising him on things like this?
Oh, of course he does. At the end of the day, though, he holds on to his decisions, and he made it very clear that he owns this. We have to respect that. You know, he doesn't throw anybody under the bus and say, well, it was such and such's idea, or somebody told me not to do it, but I wanted to do it anyway. He basically is owning this, and we all as Americans should be able to appreciate that. He isn't trying to play dodgeball over this. He had an idea that maybe there was an opportunity here, and the Taliban proved that it would not work. But if you never tried, how would you know? This war has gone on for how long? 18 plus years. And the president had promised the voters that he would end it. But the fact is, we can't end something as long as your enemy is still fighting and killing. The enemy has a vote when something will end. We're just leaving does not cause anything to end. We saw that in Iraq, and we saw the vacuum take place with the growth of ISIS. We can't afford for that to happen again. So it's not about how many troops we have present. It's what the capabilities of those troops are. We have to recognize that if we have intelligence operators, we have special forces, we are able to get human intelligence, and we're able to watch over. We can have a quick response by the United States if needed. We don't have to have necessarily 20 20,000, 50,000. The number is not necessarily as relevant as the capabilities of who is there.
Yeah, things have certainly changed. And as you mentioned, this war has been going on for almost 18 years. People who weren't even born yet before it started are now eligible to serve in the military. And Jessie Jane, it's important to underscore the fact that President Trump ran on a platform of ending these foreign military entanglements. And if there ever has been an entanglement, it's Afghanistan.
Oh, goodness. And yes, he has said we don't want to become a police state. But yet we are in South Korea still. We are in Japan still. We are in Germany. And we're all over the world. We do manage a certain police state of some sort, not to the extent that the word means. But our presence has kept a lot of peace throughout the world and has prevented a lot of the extremists from going out and killing entire villages or causing our allies to suffer death and destruction. Where would the rest of the world be if our U.S. forces were not there helping Europe?
Right.
They would definitely be in a lot of trouble.
I know,
So
and you think about
he
that
has
too.
the right message.
And you think about that too, Jessie Jane, when you see the protesters in places like Hong Kong waving the American flag, singing the Star-Spangled Banner, begging for American-style freedom from their Chinese overlords. All right, Jessie Jane is coming back with us.
Begging for the Second Amendment.
Exactly, begging for any of the freedoms that we enjoy here in this country. All right, Jessie's going to stay with us.